Hey, welcome to this edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Roberson. Now today we get behind the wheel of the 2014 Nissan Altima. Now the Nissan Altima falls into the midsize sedan market. Now there's a lot of offerings out there, and when you look at the exterior, it really is going to blend a lot of those choices. It's really not going to stake its own claim, and of course it's not going to scare you away from this type of offering. Now the Altima has come a long way. Back when I test drove one years ago, it kind of had a weird back end. Now they've kind of smoothed out the styling lines, and really this may even blend in with kind of the Hyundai Sonata and the Azera, and really maybe mimics a little bit of the Volvo S type qualities. But the best part about it is it's a decent offering. It's a decent sedan, and that's what this vehicle is meant to do. Now by the numbers, the Altima is going to measure in around about 191 inches with about 110 inch wheelbase. Now those are standard offerings for the midsize sedan market. Now what that translates is onto the inside, where you're going to have about 45 inches of legroom up front and about 36 inches in the back. Now it may seem anemic in the back, but with so much great numbers in the front, you really can move those seats forward, and you're going to average more or less about 38 to 39 inches in the back. Plenty of room even for my 6-foot frame. Now looking at the exterior just a little bit harder, you're going to notice a little bit of that kind of Sonata and the Azera that we talked about with this kind of rear window and that sloping roof line. Now this is standard across the midsize sedan market right now, with only a few notables like Ford really adding kind of a weird front end, and some other vehicles having just kind of an awkward look to it. Now this vehicle really is going to blend in and really not scare you away, let's say. Now there is a nice ridge line that runs down the side, something you'll see even in the Volvo lineups. Now as for the wheels, this one is 17-inch options with 16-inch being standard. Now when you sweep around to the front, you're really going to notice a lot of glass, really referring to that front headlight design, and a little bit of chrome, of course, stereotypical of the Altima, right there around the grille with that nice black insert. Now once you climb inside the Altima, it is standard operating procedure like every other midsize sedan out there. There's going to be comfort, there's going to be plenty of leg room, and like we mentioned, there's about 45 inches up here, and that's going to give a lot of extra space to the back. Even though on paper it's going to be around about 35 to 36 inches, really you're going to need to scoot this up even for my tall frame, and that's going to give a lot more room in the back and makes this really kind of an equal opportunity seating. Now with any vehicle, you really got to get down to the ergonomics and the creature comforts of a vehicle. Now the vehicle we have here is cloth interior, which is nice on a winter day like this because that cloth is not going to be kind of cold right when you sit down. It's going to have a little bit of warmth naturally built in. Now another nice feature I love on any vehicle is the steering wheel, and whether it's tilt and telescoping. Now that is the case here, really allowing this steering wheel to kind of fit anyone's stature. Now this Altima is wrapped in body color all the way around with just a hint of chrome here around the windows and on the door handles. Now one thing that can make a vehicle like this feel cheap is too much chrome, especially down on the tires where you can typically find plastic coverings. Now this vehicle is actually alloy wheels, which really takes it to another level of quality. Now, as for the rest of the design, you're going to find black covering the whole interior of this particular model with a little bit of brushed aluminum and of course a little bit of chrome accents here on the handles. Now as for the fabric choices, again, it's cloth seating on this one, and you do have some fabric inserts here on the door. Now I might prefer a little bit more vinyl-like quality there because after time, your elbow rubbing here, I'm wondering if this fabric's going to hold up. Now one of the biggest features you need to look at on any midsize sedan is the offering under the hood. Does it deliver fuel economy or more power? Now the Altima has both options with this test model delivering the fuel economy. Now it came with a 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder engine. Now it delivers around about 182 horses and 180 foot-pounds of torque. Now as for fuel economy, that's going to average somewhere between 27 miles per gallon and 38 miles per gallon, somewhere falling in between. Now if you want more oomph, of course you can go with the 3.5 liter V6 engine. Now it's going to deliver 270 horses and 251 foot-pounds of torque. Now it's going to be a little bit more anemic on fuel economy, being in the low 20s to 27 miles per gallon. Now all the Altimas come equipped with a continuously variable transmission, and it's going to be the old standard stick model right here. Now it does have the old overdrive if you want to do that, but pretty much coupled with this 4-cylinder engine, there's just not to really wow about. It's standard operating procedure. But the best part of this whole package on this particular model is that fuel economy. Again, averaging easily in the 30 miles per gallon, something that rivals, of course, even the V6 on this version. And as for the overall ride of this vehicle, I really found that the bounces and bumps on this one weren't really that bad. And the one way I test this is really the speed bumps you're going to find in the average parking lot. Now, I'm not saying go over there and try to jump them, but keep it at a very modest pace and just hit them and see if you can get any jostle, neck jarring. And really, that's one nice way to find it besides going to find all the various potholes in your city. Now, what I found in this vehicle is as you hit them, it really is very minor of a discomfort. Now, you translate that to the road, all the typical road harshness, and it really just smooths out the bumps just fine. Now, a lot of sedans, you're going to find innovations wherever you look. Of course, on the Altima here, we refer to the LCD screen, but a lot of times it does translate right here on the gauges, but that's just not the case here on the Altima. They go with the old standard tach and speedometer with a little information cluster right in between, not the digital readouts that we see on a lot of vehicles. Now, whether you're looking at the econo sedans all the way to the luxury sedans, one feature that's coming in a lot of these vehicles is the smart key system. Now, I talked about this 1,000 times, but basically it replaces the old traditional with a integrated system that allows the vehicle to know when you're getting close, or in this case, come up, press a corresponding button, and it unlocks. Now, these systems are great because it really takes the cumbersome part of even just getting in the vehicle away. Now, the old traditional keys really need to get thrown away and go to systems like this. Even better is it really translates to the cargo area back here, because as you come up, you don't want to fiddle with keys once again as you're kind of carrying items. You just want to walk right up, hit the corresponding button, and it's going to pop and rise to the occasion. Now, what's great is on the key fob, of course, you do have the release for this trunk, but either way, you really can access it quite quickly. Now, as for the numbers in the cargo area, it's going to be around about 15.5 cubic feet, decent numbers for a mid-size sedan. Now, one nice feature I love on this vehicle is the safety innovations. Now, one nice feature that's coming on a lot of vehicles, of course, is that blind spot awareness. Basically, as a vehicle comes up beside you, it's going to alert you with kind of like an indicator. Now, a lot of vehicles, that's going to be on the mirror, a little orange light. Now, on this one, it's a little orange light that's actually right here, and it's very subtle. It takes a couple minutes to actually get used to that being there, but once you do, it's going to just alert you. Best of all, it's not audible. It really is just nice and discreet and kind of reminds you, hey, there's a vehicle there. Now, another nice feature on a lot of sedans and this one is that backup camera. Put it in reverse and the camera's going to display right here. Of course, an option as long as you have this LCD screen. Now, there are no surround sensors to go with this vehicle, which of course is fine because it's not that big. That camera's just an added bonus, let's say. Now the design elements come here to the back of the Altima. Now, one thing you'll see that's missing is kind of that rear spoiler you're going to see on a lot of sedans. It kind of adds that little niche, that little extra sport, but I don't really think you need it because, again, this is a 4-cylinder engine under the hood of this vehicle. You're not going to fool anybody off the line. Now, other design cues you're going to notice is the tremendous amount of glass on these rear taillights, just like we have on the front. And I'd hate to know what happens when these get broken, how much that costs, but we'll worry about that later. Now, another thing you're going to notice is bumpers are really gone now. You're going to just see kind of a flat end. Doesn't mean the safety is not there. Now, nothing else is really going to wow you except maybe here on the dash and the touchscreen system they have integrated. Now, you have just a little simple buttons that's going to choose your source and everything like that, but you really have your navigation really right there to touch your fingers. Now, but down below in this particular model, we had the dual climate zones. Now, I love that, and even better yet, you really dial in the specific temperature, hot on one side, cold on the other, and of course a couple simple buttons for the mode select and fan speed. Now, this vehicle is equipped with Bluetooth technology, basically allowing you to keep your phone on your hip, connect the phone via Bluetooth, and pretty much go hands-free, and that's going to stream, of course, your music and your telephone calls as they come through. Now, even better, they also have USB connections, which is to be expected, auxiliary jack, and a power supply right here in this little niche. Now, in the center console, it's very deep. There also is a power supply there. Now, one thing that's missing that a lot of vehicles have is also a USB connection there. That way, if you do need to connect a USB device, you put it in there, store it away, and you don't have to worry about it sliding around. Now, in this case, it's going to have to be more up here, tuck it in a cup holder, so it wouldn't be bad if maybe some of those connections are right here just the same. That does for this edition of Road Warrior and our test drive behind the wheel of the 2014 Nissan Altima. Now, again, this is a great offering in the midsize sedan market, and really has come a long way and is a lot more mature than maybe even several years back, with a great exterior design, great interior comfort, and of course a lot of new innovations from safety to technology. Now, again, I'd like to thank you for watching this edition, and as always, keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.